Electro has been universally agreed to be the worst element in Genshin. Majority of the players think it's just bad. So with the whole Baha controversy, I think it's fair to say that an Electro buff is on the horizon. That being said, I still think Electro is a viable choice in things like Spiral Abyss. Just have a look at this damage. So if Electro characters can still do some big damage like what you saw there, then why is Electro bad? What's the problem? Simple. There's really no reason to use Electro unless you really like the aesthetic and playstyle. Like, there isn't a meta reason why you would use it. Most players say that the reason why Electro is bad is it's because of the reactions. The elemental reactions for Electro are bad. But I think that's a gross simplification on why Electro is bad. There's so many other factors that lead to Electro being the worst element in the game. Electro Resonance is pointless. The resonance gives you a lot more electro particles when elemental reaction is triggered. An electro-based elemental reaction is triggered. That seems pretty useful on the surface since it's like, oh, more energy. But it's electro particles, which makes it obsolete since it only benefits its own element. So you would never use Electro Resonance unless you wanted to give energy specifically to an Electro character on your team. But you wouldn't use Electro characters since it's bad. Does that make sense? Because the whole Resonance barely has any support capabilities, like in a Tartaglia comp, like the Fireworks team. It goes, you use Child, Beto, and Fischl, and one other support. It could be Kazuha, Jean, whatever, right? In that team, Child doesn't get any benefit out of the Electro Resonance, not really. Beto does, which is definitely good, but it only benefits Electro itself, therefore making it pointless in most team comps. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. It's completely free and I need subscribers. Okay, so every element has its own artifact set. Like, some elements have more than one, like an artifact set that's tailor-made for that element. Electro and Pyro, as far as I know, are the only elements that really have two specific artifact sets to their name. Which means, wouldn't that give Electro advantage over other elements because it has more options? Well, let's just look at the artifacts and see. So, the first artifact set is Thundering Fury. It's not a bad set, but it's not really great either. It gives you, it reduces your elemental skills CD, which is useful in some situations, but it's not that special. And its elemental reaction damage bonus is pretty useful, and obviously the 2-piece is good. Then there's a Thunder Suitor set. This set is actually decent in Electro charged comps. That's pretty much it. It's not the 2-piece bonus is probably the worst in the entire game. And the 4-piece bonus is only good in really one team comp. So, looking at these two sets, I don't think they're bad sets, but they're not good either. They're painfully average sets. They're so run-of-the-mill. There's nothing about these sets, artifact sets, makes someone want to use Electro. Okay, fine. I'll address the big elephant in the room. The mental reactions. How bad are they? And I'm gonna be honest, they're probably the worst out of like the four main elements. Obviously, elemental reaction, the shatter elemental reaction, or crystallize, I mean, is a horrible reaction, but Geo isn't really based around elemental reactions, so it doesn't matter. So, Electro has 3 elemental reactions, like every other element besides Animal and Geo. There's Electro Charged. It's probably the best one for Electro, mainly because the Thunder Sewer set and Xingqiu, so it makes it a pretty decent choice. There's Overloaded, which is alright, I guess. I've never really used it, but like it's kind of counterintuitive in a lot of team comps. Like, for example, I use Keqing, and with Keqing that would be a pretty bad team because it pushes the enemies away from me, so it's not really good with the melee characters. Then there's Superconduct. This is probably the only elemental reaction that makes Electro better in any situation. So, Superconduct essentially reduces enemies' physical resistance. That means Electro is actually an integral part of physical teams. Very important, and that's the only context where I think Electro outperforms like Pyro, like in physical teams. That's it. The only bonus, really. But if I'm gonna be honest, I think the other issues Electro faces are just as important. The Resonance is just so basic and boring and doesn't really benefit anyone. The artifact sets are also very average, right? With all this, I think that the reactions are actually the best part of Electro, since there is some merit to using them. By the way, sorry if you can hear background noise. They're like cars horning and stuff. It's annoying. Anyways, so I think that the elemental reactions are the best part of Electro. Like, I really do. But Electro, I feel like it suffers from a lot. First of all, it's not really the energy recharge element in the game. It really isn't. Like, would you really use an Electro character as a battery for a non-Electro character? Like, you have Eula, right? You're like, I need an Electro, I need a battery. Just forget about Raiden for a second, but would you use Fischl as a battery for Eula or Diona? You would use Diona. So there's no need for Electro being the energy recharge element, because no one uses it as the energy recharge element. Anyways, I've rambled quite a bit, and for all these reasons, I think Electro's getting a buff soon. So stay excited. I'm excited to see what happens with Electro. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. If you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Bye guys.